What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 180, and we are starting today's episode off, our second episode since joining Arsenal, by putting in a new bid for Kagan Holland of Wolfsburg. Now, we've actually lost a scout report on this guy, but we know how good he is. He's 78 overall at 19 years old, and of course here at Arsenal, as we joined them in the last episode, I mentioned our aims and our objectives. We want to bring in the younger players with high potential, fresh faces to this team, and also shift on the players that are in their 30s in this team and try and build a completely new Arsenal squad and just completely restructure the entire team from the first team to the reserves as well. And Kagan Holland, I'm sure I'm going to be pronouncing this guy's name wrong, is the player I really want. Most importantly, we got £25 million to start off here with Arsenal, and he would be a great addition to the team. As I've said before, their defence is probably their weakest area, and I'd like to improve it straight away with a young potential player in Kagan Holland. So we'll have to wait and see. And also Yang, just because he's the boy, he's my man, he is the danger man. And Yang, I'd love to get him back in the series as soon as possible, but I don't think we'll be able to get him at least in the first January transfer window, because he's now valued at £36.5 million, I think it was, a far cry from the £3 million we spent on him when we brought him to West Bromwich Albion from Milan. He's now 86 overall, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't think we'll be able to get hold of him until the summer at the very earliest, but we'll have to wait and see. Still, we take on Wolves for the first game of today's episode here, and this was an FA Cup third round replay at the Emirates against the Championship side. Now, this was being played on Wednesday night, so it was sandwiched in between the last game we played, which was the victory against Stoke, the very fortunate victory against Stoke in our first game as Arsenal manager, and also a game against Sunderland in the Premier League on the weekend. So I did decide to make 11 changes to the team, and this was a real chance for players like Vargas, for players like Ferry, for players like, well, it's just a ton of them out there really, Dzeko as well being one of them, players of these caliber who are, probably good enough to play in the first team but currently aren't in the first team, and also players like Coquelin as well, and there's a centre back called Ayatara, not sure how you pronounce that, Onyedinma I have playing as well. These type of players, John Terrell, these type of players who aren't going to get too many chances, if at all, at Arsenal, to show us that they are part of this Arsenal future and are going to be good enough to stay in my team for the long term, because there's only one or two players I was playing out there that I'm probably going to keep in the Arsenal team for the foreseeable future. One of those was Lazari, and he was really the only player that was looking good in this game up until the 70th minute mark, and he had his header going just over the bar here as well. He was the only player that actually looked pretty decent. The rest of the team weren't really doing enough. I've got to be honest here in this game. There were players like Dzeko, who's 84 overall, that I was really expecting to come alive. He wasn't doing anything. His movement was just terrible. I've seen hibernating tortoises have more movement than him. He was just all over the place, and in all honesty, it was a really poor game, and it was still 0-0 late on in this game. Doherty's shot almost won it for Wolves with a minute to spare, but it went just wide of the post. And in all honesty, in the 90th minute, Wolves had a great chance to win the game late on with that shot, and then here at the far post, I'm not going to pronounce this guy's name because I'll get it wrong, but Evans' shot had to be really well saved by Ospina, and eventually we cleared the ball away, so it was still goalless. And Wolves almost won it there, and in stoppage times we went on a counter. Serge Gnabry had the chance to make it 1-0 and send us through to the fourth round with the reverse step over, but his shot went wide of the post and behind for a goal kick. So still goalless, and we went into extra time in this third round replay. And I was just so frustrated because this was a game where, all 11 players, none of these players, are guaranteed to be staying here at Arsenal for the foreseeable future. I like the look of Lazari, and I also like the look of Serge Gnabry in this game, although he wasn't amazing. He was still playing, one of the best players out there. But it was a really poor game, and in the end I had to bring on Alexis Sanchez off the bench as we were going into extra time, which I didn't want to do, but I put him on the bench just in case we needed him. I didn't think we'd need Sanchez, 87 overall, obviously one of the best players in the team. I didn't think we'd need Sanchez in the end, but we did, and in the 119th minute, with just seconds to go before we went to a penalty shootout, the Chilean fires the ball past the goalkeeper and makes it 1-0 to Arsenal. And as you'll see, we did hold on and go through to the FA Cup fourth round, and I was just absolutely furious because, don't get me wrong, we're through, we won the game, But I was like, you know, there were so many players out there who I just couldn't get on with. I couldn't play well with whilst I was controlling them. And in the end, I feel as though, I mentioned this before, I feel as though there are so many players here who need to be sold as soon as possible, because they're just quite frankly nowhere near good enough, whether their overall suggests they are or not. Players like Dzeko, players like Vargas, they're just not good enough, despite the fact they're both in the 80s. But even so, we made it through in the end, thanks to Sanchez coming off the bench and rescuing us. And following that, Wolfsburg did indeed accept the bid we put in for Kagan Holland, the defender. Very, very pleased about that. It's going to cost us £11 million to bring him to the Emirates, but I got to be honest here, that £11 million fee, I'm confident in, you know, let's just say 3 seasons' time, that could be, you know, probably half of what his current valuation will be, you know, in the future, because I really do have confidence that this guy could grow and grow and grow, because to be 78 overall at 19 years old isn't exactly unheard of, but it does show that he clearly is already developing at just 19 years old, when he's already had, you know, a maximum of 3 seasons playing professional football at Wolfsburg. You know, maybe not even that, maybe only 2 seasons or even just 1. He clearly does have a lot of potential, and I feel as though he's going to be a massive part of the future here at Arsenal. So I'm very pleased he's coming in. Onyedinma is going to go and join Charlton on loan. Also, PSG rejected a bid for Niang, unsurprisingly. And also, Everton rejected a new bid for Stones. So Onyedinma leaves to join Charlton on loan. But, yeah, rejects for Stones and rejects for Niang. Not a real surprise there. We're never going to get hold of Niang in his transfer window. We might possibly get Stones, but probably not. Because, as Callum James comes back from injury here, which is great, because Kagan Holland has accepted his contract and we got the centre-back we wanted. So, Holland is going to come in, and again, look at that £11 million, but don't look at it as, you know, us overspending for him right now, which technically we are. Look at what that £11 million is going to be worth in, let's say, 3 seasons time. You know, this guy's going to grow. This guy is going to grow really, really well. I'm almost certain of it, unless he's got the potential glitch, which I highly doubt. Touch wood, he doesn't. I'm sure he doesn't, but I highly doubt. Then this guy has so much potential here, and he's going to dive right into the first team. He's taken out Bryzagalov, I can't pronounce his name, the Russian centre-back they have. He's going to dive right into the first team, and he, you know, I'm probably going to bring in another centre-back as well, either in this transfer window or in summer, and, you know, he and whoever comes in as well should be the combined partnership for the foreseeable future of Arsenal, and I just know they are going to be really, really awesome for us, because again, Mertesacker now 78 overall, he's 35 years old, I do believe, because Koscielny's 32, yeah, 84 overall, so he's going to stay in the first team for the time being. But yeah, Holland is going to be a fantastic signing for us. I'm really, really pleased with that. Still, we do take on Sunderland for the second and final game of today's episode here. So we won against Wolves in extra time, thanks to Alexis Sanchez coming off the bench. And he would start this game. Also, Lazari would start as well. He was the only player who played well against Wolves, I felt, from the original first 11 I had out there. Maybe Ospina as well, the goalkeeper. But Szczesny was going to return. But still, we did take on Sunderland, and the first chance of the game would fall in the 20th minute. Danny Welbeck finding Alexis Sanchez, the hero on Wednesday night, who picks out Lazari. Lazari turns and finds Ramsey, finds Santi Cazorla. Cazorla inside towards Danny Welbeck. We're holding the ball up here as Welbeck finds Santi Cazorla. Cazorla then back to Lazari. Lazari to Sanchez. Sanchez to Lazari. Lazari to Sanchez. Wonderful move, but Sanchez's strike is brilliantly saved by the former City goalkeeper Pantilimon as the Giant turns it behind for a corner. So what a lovely passing goal that would have been, but it was still 0-0. And you may have seen as well, I did decide to change the formation in this game as well to a 4-4-2 diamond central, or a 4-1-2-1-2 central, if you will. I'm not too sure what the best formation will be with this Arsenal team, at least from the beginning. I prefer to play a 4-5-1 with just one striker, but there's so many great offensive players here, it's probably best to try and put at least 2 up top, and also have an attacking midfielder as well. Still, you saw there Kieran Gibbs get an injury too, and he would last until half time, but he did indeed get taken off the pitch as well, and he's going to be out for a few days, so that's a bit of a shame. But still, in the 44th minute here, Danny Welbeck goes down the right hand side and takes on Patrick Van Aanholt. Rises the slide challenge here and takes it round the left back, gets inside the area and shoots, but puts the ball into the side netting, and it was still goalless going into the break. And in the second half here, we had a throw in. We gave it to Mesut Ozil. Ozil picks out Aaron Ramsey here, and the Welshman has space to shoot and does so, but it goes just over the bar and behind for a goal kick. So still 0-0, just past the hour mark. And in the 70th minute here, Sunderland come forward and give it away. Santi Cazorla finds Danny Welbeck. Welbeck plays it over the top towards Rodrigo Lazari. Great chance here as he gets past the last man, Roberge, with the step over, cuts inside and shoots, but it's saved by Pantilimon, and Liam Brigcutt clears the ball away. So still goalless in this game, and it was a really frustrating one, because just like Stoke, just like Wolves in midweek, I didn't play particularly well, and the players I was controlling weren't particularly doing the job either. And in the end, as you'll see, the final chance did fall to Sunderland, but Locadia's shot went into the side netting, and the game did finish as a 0-0 draw. So as I mentioned in the last episode, I mentioned a few minutes ago, forget about the overalls of some of the players in this team. It is not the best of teams. It could certainly be a lot better, and it is going to require a lot of work to completely restructure this Arsenal team. We made a good start with that signing of Kagan Holland. This 0-0 draw was pretty poor, but just proved that we do need to make a lot of signings and as quickly as possible. But as always, guys, a big thank you for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, please leave a like, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.